Hello, everyone. This is Henry Kramer, 605 Chaser. I'll be with you in just a moment. We want to wait for some people to join. I'm a little bit early, so just hang tight for a moment and I will be right with you. All right, it's time to get this show on the road. All right, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the satellite upper level water vapor. This is currently what we're looking at here. Low pressure, warm front here with pushing into the Omaha area, all that warm air right there. And on the other side of that, we do have this weather maker. We have to look all the way out into the Pacific to see what is lurking. Lots of winter storm warnings over into the Pacific Northwest. As you can see up in Washington and Oregon areas, we've got in the hills there or the mountains and of great Montana. We have high wind warnings as well. And I'm starting off with this just so that I can kind of show you what's expected over the next few days here as we get into next week. Um, we also have the wind advisory out in areas of northwestern parts of South Dakota. I'll get to the severe weather here shortly, but I just kind of wanted to show an overall of what's going on with everything. We do have red flag warnings, so we certainly have plenty of dry air over into areas of eastern Pennsylvania, all the way up into Vermont. Plenty of dry air. So things are going to change quite drastically. As you can see, the greens, that's the moisture. This is upper level water vapor, so not all of this is falling. Of course, down here we do have that snowfall definitely falling. All right, let's take that off of the satellite and let's go ahead and take a look at some models. One thing that I wanted to show you is the 500 millibar pattern that we're showing. You can see this uh, right here is showing that deep uh, Canadian low is, basically trying to cool things down as the jet stream dips. If I can change that a little bit right here and cooling things down just a bit, hence the reason that we have that moisture on the west side of that as the dry air right in here but wreaking havoc. Let me refocus on this a little bit. One moment. All right, as you can see, as we go through the rest of today, that pattern continues, be pretty dominant. And then once we get into the middle part of next week, that's where things shift quite a bit. As you can see right in this area here, this is where we're expecting that severe weather to really wreak havoc because we've got some major disruption with the upper level low ejecting from the southwest. Right here, we would end up having a low. Let me shut that off because that's as of right now, those fronts. So I want to shut that off so it doesn't get mixed in too much. So that was 6 a.m. Where those troughs are. But this is where we're expecting the severe weather to impact areas of Oklahoma. in Texas by the 18th. If we zoom back in a little bit, we'll go ahead and show you a little bit further out. Once we get into the 19th, do have this disruption, 20th rather, right here as well. So we do have some severe weather, more dominant severe weather right here. And that's probably where we're going to end up seeing this ejecting over into Detroit, Toronto, Ohio areas to have some of the snowfall, even up in Michigan areas, because we'll end up seeing by the 20th and the 22nd. Ooh, look at this right here. Let me go ahead and draw that in. Right here is where that low pressure is going to end up being. And that's where we're probably going to end up seeing the most impact for snowfall by the 20th, 21st, 22nd. For that, I want to show you this other information so that you can see what I'm talking about. Bear with me one moment. Here's the snow probabilities. Risk of heavy snow right in that area. Slight risks up in the Great Lakes region for the 23rd through the 25th, and then moderate risk up in areas like Maine, Pennsylvania areas as well. Can just definitely see that. Let's go ahead and take a look at what's expected for temperatures over the next 6 to 10 days. We do have this update here. It's showing much warmer than average for the next 6 to 10 days over in areas of the California, Nevada, desert Southwest. And the 6 to 10 precipitation outlook looks well below normal for the 6 to 10. We have this weak La Nina pattern really happening, but it's making it difficult. This where we see the 6 to 10 day outlook precipitation wise, this is definitely indicating a La Nina pattern because the Pacific Northwest typically ends up having higher than normal precip outlook. But then we do have some disruptions once we go into the 8 to 14 day temperature outlook. That above normal temperatures go into New Mexico, Arizona area, and then near normal in South Dakota, but below normal for Florida. I mean, we're going to be taking a look at some estimates of what temperatures in Florida and Georgia might be. We could end up having some disruption with some of the crops there. So let's go ahead and take a look at the 8 to 14 day precipitation outlook. That looks like it's going to be above normal continuing for this time of year for the Pacific Northwest. Again, continuing with that La Nina weather pattern. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of these precipitations, possibility of these precipitation outlook here. If I can get the right one. Sorry, folks. There we go. All right, so the NAM 12K, this was updated late last night. Let's take a look and see. Actually, 7 a.m. today. I apologize, getting my times all goofed up. So this is total precipitation between that forecast hour and over the weekend and into next week. As you can see, we do have 3 inches possible in some of these areas. In Iowa, Nebraska, extreme southeastern Nebraska, of course, and then areas like Oklahoma. If I bring this back to regions here, let me go ahead and show the south central region so you guys can see that. Certainly showing some moisture there in areas right here, looking at 4 inches possibly of rain over the next several days. It looks like this is through November 19th. Let's go back. So through midnight on the 20th, you're going to see close to 5 inches of rainfall. So certainly plenty of moisture. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the thermodynamics. We do want to take a look at the temperatures, expecting those temperatures to be in the 60s and 70s in Texas area. Let's take a look at a whole global look here, the whole part of North America here. Apologize. That way we can see the temperature changes throughout. So if we go back to, as you can see, we do see those temperatures in the teens for the 14th. Oops, 14th. I'm going backwards. Not sure why this isn't updating as much as it should be, but anyhow, there we go. So the 15th and the 16th, we do see those temperatures in the teens, single digits over in Wyoming area. And then that warmth comes back through today before it gets dominated by some colder air. So folks in South Dakota, today and tomorrow is probably going to be the last nice day as we dip into the cold, extreme cold temperatures the closer that we get into next week. As you can see, most of those. Let's go ahead and take a look at the thermodynamics, or the lower dynamics rather, so we can show the wind. There's that low pressure. We're expecting that on Monday right there in Oklahoma, centerized there. And then that pushes up into areas of Iowa and the Great Lakes region, and that's where that little weather maker is going to end up being our possibility of our snow. I do want to point out things, the Gulf, we do show a low pressure there, but I really don't believe that that's going to have any impact to areas of Florida other than maybe some rain, but very little to say the least. Now, I want to show this point off to the Pacific Northwest as well. We do have November 20th, a very potent system that is expected to wreak havoc as well on Pacific Northwest. And that could end up shaping up to be something that our areas of South Dakota and the Northern Plains need to be aware of, because that could end up pushing to the area of the Northern Plains and start our significant snowfall risks. We'll have to see because that's shaping up to be an interesting one for by the time it would end up getting here, we would be talking somewhere in the following week, which would be somewhere around the 24th, 25th, basically your Thanksgiving week. We'll have to see how that plays out for things. But the next thing that I wanted to kind of give you an idea of, if we can center in on areas of eastern U.S., we're going to have to switch to the global GFS so that we can actually see these totals here. Might have to refresh this, folks. One moment. All right, let me switch to Radar Omega. I was having a little bit of a hard time pulling all that information in, so bear with me one moment. And this just went through an update at 9 a.m., so I'm going to have to switch to the one that updated at 1 a.m. here. All right, these are some possibilities here. Let me zoom in on areas like Chicago. These are estimates. It is one weather model, so areas of Ohio and Indiana That Great Lakes region is expecting some type of snow for sure. How significant this will be, this is pretty extreme. Areas close to 22, 23 inches of snow. I would say this is going to be more along the lines of maybe 10 to 15 inches of snowfall. We're going to have that lake effect snow that we got to worry about, so that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. So if you have any travel plans along the Ohio River Valley, that's going to be a major concern. There's also some snow impact that's going to be into North Dakota. Not near as impactful, thankfully. But as you can see, these are estimates for um, this is going to be higher elevations, 3 feet. We're talking 3 feet of snow. That's crazy. I don't believe that's going to be that much. GFS has a history of um, being an outlier somewhat when it comes to these. Now, keep in mind these are snowfall totals over the course of between now or 11:16 at 3 a.m. and let's go through December 2nd. This is what we have. So this really doesn't change much. So basically, what I'm trying to point out is next week, uh, Chicago area as well as Indiana, Ohio, Pittsburgh, Virginia, all those areas, they're basically going to have one weather system based on this. And then this one is going to be where we have multiple systems coming through the Pacific Northwest. Just huge. All right, so let's go ahead and take a quick peek at the severe weather side of it. We definitely want to take a peek at that. We're going to have a little bit of a hard time because the NAM 12K has not gotten a whole lot of updates yet, but we'll do our best with what we have here. Let's go ahead and take a look at that severe weather. Before I do go into Radar Omega, I want to show you. There we go. Um, Wanted to show you this. Actually, let's do this. I am back to this. All right, sorry, folks. So the slight risk is for areas of Texas and Oklahoma. This is 3 days out. So this is, I apologize. So this is a little ways out. We've been looking at the 18th into the 19th for this risk. Let's go ahead and take a quick peek back on Radar Omega so that we can show you how this might play out. This is a composite reflective look using the NAM 12K. Oklahoma, as you can see, this puts it sooner rather than later. This is your garden variety showers right here, and then more intense rainfall over in the western panhandle of Texas. Then it really blows up on the 17th, the evening of the 17th into the 18th. So these storms, let's take a look at surface-based CAPE so we can see how intense these might end up being. So I want to see, it's not real significant. I don't think there's going to be a tornado threat. I believe it's going to be, there could be some small hail, definitely going to be some wind. And then we got plenty of moisture that it's working with there, plenty of energy, I should say. And right here is that low pressure. Um, right here is that low pressure that is trying to say basically that there's going to be some kind of tropical development there, but I don't believe that's going to amount to anything. That's my personal opinion. All right, so let's take a look at total precip that is expected. We'll look at that again. There it is, 4 to 5 inches over the course of that. That's a lot of rain for folks. And let's take a look at the bulk shear to see the tornado risk for that day. All right, so there is some bulk shear there. That certainly is possible then. The thing is, if you have plenty of bulk shear, that's one thing, but you also need to have enough cape, enough energy to harness that. As we get into the 19th, you can start to see more bulk shear to show up. Bulk shear helps bring that lift that's needed. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at the significant tornado parameters. Based on this, my thought at this point in time is that this region here will could end up having an isolated tornado. And it wouldn't end up being anything significant. And then there is a higher risk at this point in time for areas like San Antonio to have that on the 18th, early morning hours of the 18th. Usually, if I'm going to be chasing some type of storms, I want to see significant tornado parameters in the threes or higher. And let's go ahead and take a look at those 10-meter wind gusts. Let's go ahead and show you the wind gusts that we're expecting in areas of South Dakota, because on the backside of this storm front, we're definitely going to have the winds impacting. So while areas of South Dakota will end up seeing plenty of rain, they're also going to have plenty of wind on the backside of this and cooler, much cooler temperatures. Wow, this is impressive. This is the first time that I've looked at this. This is super impressive right here. That is a powerful system. Yeah, that is very powerful low pressure, and that's very concerning. It's super early on, but wow, that is huge. So that's going to be one heck of a risk if that ends up making its way over to the northern plains area. It all depends on if this if a high pressure dominates over um, much of the region and kind of squeezes this farther south. There's a couple of possibilities as this could end up going basically just a straight west to east. The other scenario is that a high pressure could end up developing right here, basically a dome, and then it diverts this to the south and starts taking that type of a path and then goes back into the same area. We'll have to see how that plays out, folks, because that is very impressive looking at that. It's a lot of wind, a lot of crazy moisture, I bet too. Let's go ahead. Oh yeah, there's just a unbelievable amount of moisture there. And then right on the backside of that, very dry. These are estimates, of course, folks. So it just caught my eye quite a bit. All right, so let's go ahead and reset a little bit. One moment. What I want to show you now is kind of a different it's GFS, but it shows you where those low pressures are a little bit differently so that you can um, kind of see where the snowfall is somewhat expected. And there's that rain. See how intense that is, 988 millibars, 984. By the time we get to the Tuesday, lots of moisture popping up into the area like Iowa, eastern Nebraska. I mean, definitely we certainly do need some moisture um, for these areas, but let's take a quick peek back on the risks for excessive rainfall and get that ready here. So we do have risks for excessive rainfall. Now this would end up being areas on day 2, which would end up being tomorrow into Monday. Plenty of moisture to work with there. This is a slight risk, and then the marginal risk there. Once we get into day 3, which would end up being Monday into Tuesday, that shifts farther north. Show you here. And becomes a marginal risk, but a risk nonetheless for this whole area. So we're not going to end up seeing the 4 to 5 inches of rain, but we certainly 1 to 2 in some of these areas in the higher thunderstorms. Let's take a look at our drought outlook here. Shut the excessive rainfall off. So if we take a look at overall, you can definitely see significant extreme droughts in areas of South Dakota. Um, we're definitely going to see some improvement for Oklahoma and Dallas area or Texas areas. Um, it's not as extreme. And then we are going to end up seeing a little bit of help for areas like Pittsburgh and West Virginia with those snow systems if they do hold together. Um, Unfortunately, areas out in western South Dakota look to continue to be pretty dry. And then as you can see in the Pacific Northwest, there's really not a drought that much. It's a moderate drought there, but if those, the one system that's coming through this weekend right now, and then the system that is potentially for later uh, towards the end of next week, that is possibly going to have some improvements for that area. And then, of course, unfortunately, um, some of these areas into Arizona are going to continue to dry, be dry over that 8 to 14 day outlook, continuing to see the dry weather pattern. All right, I'm going to check my chat to see if there's anybody that has chatted. I don't see any questions, so I'm going to let you all go. God bless you. Stay safe. As far as snowfall for South Dakota, I am not expecting any significant snowfall. I know there was talk of it. I even mentioned that there was a possibility of it, but um, that just goes to show you that not every system plays out how you expect it to. And you certainly have to watch these systems and watch these different weather models to see how things play out. Current temperatures in Sioux Falls area is 49 degrees, nice above normal somewhat. Um, and then Rapid City, we do have those temperatures in the 40s as well. Let's go back to one thing. I'm sorry, I was going to let y'all go, but oops, wrong one. Let's go back to this one here, and I want to show you the total precip over South Dakota. So basically, based on the NAM 12K, things start getting pretty wet and soggy by noon on the 18th. And then rain looks to be done by the 19th, by Tuesday. Let's go ahead and take a look at the numbers here. These are estimates. So we could have some areas an inch or inch and a half. I'm going to go with an inch because we're going to end up having some of that evaporate, certainly with the area. So that is all that we have at this point in time. I'm going to let you all go. God bless you all. Love you. Stay safe and certainly enjoy, you guys. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button if you have not done so already. We'll have more updates on this. I don't expect anything to really change that much as far as rainfall totals go for that system for South Dakota. I certainly do expect things to change the following week into Thanksgiving. Expect some significant changes there. So I know there was some followers that had mentioned or that were sharing the love with regards to the Great Lakes region, specifically like areas of Wisconsin, that I was saying that there was going to be possibility, pretty confident, of 10 to 15 inches. Well, obviously that lied out to me because don't expect that to be the case. It's going to be pushing further east at this point in time. All right, stay safe, everybody, and certainly share this video if you enjoy what you're watching.